Hello, and welcome back to For Book's Sake. I'm Heather Roberts.
I am Veronica Adams, and we are a very Friday morning energy version of 1852 media.
We sure are. We sure are. It has
Oh,
been a week for us. I don't know about anybody else, but
oh
it
my
has been
God.
a week.
Yes, if you're listening to this, we are recording on Friday, March 8th, and March 4th through March 8th has just been, whew.
The struggle has been real.
It has been something around here.
It
Oh,
really has. I mean, there was the Facebook outage,
oh my
and
God.
I
What
finally
was
just
that
got
this
back on.
week? It was only like 3 days ago, and it feels like it
I
was
know.
3 weeks ago. Oh my
I
gosh.
finally just got access to the desktop version this morning.
Yay! You've been struggling with that long before the outage, though, right?
I know. I actually had some experience to give to folks who were experiencing it for the first time.
Yes,
And they
yes.
were like, I can't get in on desktop. And I'm like, I got you.
I
This is
got
what you
you.
do. This is what you do. Because they've been doing this to me for freaking months
Yes,
now.
yes. I will often log into Facebook, and there will on desktop, and there will be a notification for Messenger, and it's just a video of Heather holding up a post-it note for her proof of life. She's panning around the camera to prove that she's moving and real. And then she
Yep.
just sends me a little note, ignore this. Facebook locked me out again. And I'm like, all right, whatever.
Yep.
So,
They just really don't like me. They
oh,
think I'm an NPC or something. I don't know. I
you look like a
so
bot to me.
yeah. Yeah. So I'm back in, who knows for how long.
Hooray!
And what's crazy is you're like, Heather, why haven't you resolved this issue yet? Well, because when you get back into your account, you cannot go and mess with your two-factor authentication settings for a certain
Hmm.
period of time. I think it's like a week.
Yep.
It's like a long period of time. They lock you out of that. I
Just to make
guess,
sure that someone who's broken into your account and hacked
yes.
it doesn't change the settings on you and keep you out of your
Right.
account forever.
So by the time I remember,
Hmm.
let's be honest, who remembers then a week or two later to go back in and mess with their two factor
And
authentication?
then you get locked out
And then I
again
get
before
locked
you
out
have a
again.
chance. Yep.
Yeah. So it's this vicious cycle. And I will do my best to try to remember next week to go in and mess with that and hopefully resolve that situation where I can, make my
Yep.
own codes.
You're going to have to put it on your calendar so that it
I'm going to
pops up
have
and
to.
reminds you. One day.
Yeah. Oh my God. What a
Yep.
wild ride. But
And
for
that
the,
and that's like just the icing on the cake. This week has
yeah,
been so chock full of stuff just like that. Just like that.
just like that, just
Oh,
obnoxious and unexpected.
yep,
That's what it's been.
completely.
So after this podcast, Veronica and I are both going to take a much needed break, I think, and
Yes.
have a relaxing afternoon.
Yes, the weekend is starting early here.
Yes, it sure is. Friday afternoon. So, what are we talking about today other than how terrible this week has been? We
Uh,
are going to.
the craziness that is advertising as an author.
Yes, we're going to talk about advertising
Yes,
because I feel like there's more places that advertising has popped up, and is
for
it
sure.
valuable?
For sure.
What are the different kinds of advertising that you
Yes.
can do?
Yep.
And, where should you be putting your advertising dollars as an
Yes.
author? So, tried and true Facebook ads, since, we were just talking about the beloved
Yeah.
platform.
Tried and true, but also like questionable efficacy as of
Yeah.
late. They are moving more toward an AI operated model of self-serve ads. And while cost continues to be a really good value, like in
Yeah.
terms of all of your other options, I don't know. It's been kind of hit or miss the last 6 months.
I think it depends. I agree with that. I also think it depends on what is the age range of the target audience.
Right.
So if you're looking to hit younger folks,
Yeah.
younger folks
The
who,
metaverse is really not the
yeah,
place you need to be looking for readers under 30, period.
correct. It's just not. So
Yeah,
if your readers are, 30 to 65, run some Facebook ads
for
for
sure.
sure.
For sure.
Or if you think you have some readers in that age range, run some
Mhm.
Facebook ads. If you're looking for younger readers, they're not really on Facebook and they're not really clicking on Facebook ads. So
It's true.
there's that.
Nor are they really on Instagram, which
They're
you
really
have the
not.
option to set up ads for in the
Yeah.
metaverse using Facebook's ad manager or business manager. So,
I find
yeah.
that, I don't know about you, but I find when I add Instagram to my ads or any ads, I get a lot more clicks, but not any more sales.
Yep.
So
Yes.
it makes it
100%.
appear that your stats are better, but you're not getting
The
the
conversion.
actual conversion
Yep.
that you want. So I
Yeah.
usually turn Instagram off
Yeah.
for
I mean,
advertising.
if you're telling me 20 clicks and 8 sales versus 100 clicks and 8 sales, I'm going to take 20 clicks and 8 sales all day.
Yeah. I'd
Period.
rather go to the people who are actually going to buy the
Yes.
product.
Yes.
So Facebook ads, I will also say if you've been running Facebook ads for, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, you have noticed that they are getting more expensive.
For
They are
sure.
not as cheap as they used to. They're still cheap comparatively, but
Yes.
they are not as cheap as they once
Girl,
were.
I don't know. Okay. But also, I happened to notice in our business ad manager account earlier this week, someone, not me, has a campaign they're managing that was at like 3 cents a click right now.
That would be me. And
So
that is
it's
because
still possible to get bargain basement prices on your clicks in the Facebook
only
universe right now.
because that is in an international market. That is
Uh,
not a United States
so
advertisement.
see, okay, that's another
Yes.
consideration here too, because your international clicks tend to be ridiculously cheap compared to domestic clicks.
Way
If
cheaper.
you're advertising from the US,
Yeah.
obviously.
So this is for a translated
Okay.
title that is being
I
advertised
should have
in
paid
another
closer
market.
attention while I was
Well,
snooping
no,
into
you're in
setting up my
there.
own ads.
Yeah. You can't tell
Well,
from the first page, so
okay, so conversely though, like I was in there to set up a campaign for a client, obviously, and that campaign, domestic, US audience only, we're not reaching international readers. It's not part of the plan. 8 cents a click. So like
that's
you
still
can still
great.
get cheap clicks.
You can.
But to your point, on average, it's not unusual to spend 15 cents or more on
Yeah.
clicks
Yeah.
for any campaign in Facebook.
For any campaign. But, and I apologize if you hear knocking, by the way. I'm not sure if you do, but we're getting our roof fixed today.
Yep.
So I can't do anything about this. This is how it is. Just one more thing. Just one more thing on this week of amazing. This week of amazing.
Yeah.
So just wanted to let you know because they just started knocking. Apparently, they're working right above me now.
Bless their hearts.
Bless it. So, but yeah, so Facebook ads they're still good. Some people are like, I don't want to run any ads to Facebook. Okay, fine. But like they still have some efficacy there. And I think it's
Right.
worth it if you haven't tried in a while or you're looking to run some ads. There's still definitely ROI to be had on Facebook
Yes.
ads.
Yes.
Next up, and that obviously goes with Instagram ads. We had that little chat about Insta.
Yeah.
TikTok ads.
Mm.
So TikTok ads to me are a little bit like boosted posts used to be. Okay.
Yes.
That's really how they are.
That is like the best analogy for anyone who has been advertising for a while. If you know how to boost a post on Facebook,
Yes.
we used to do that almost for every release.
All the time.
It was part of a strategy.
Yeah.
Pre-launch to get more engagement and eyes on.
And it worked great.
Yes, it did. It doesn't really anymore.
It doesn't anymore at all. Now it's a waste of money. You might as well just throw the money in the toilet and flush it.
Yeah.
But on TikTok, there is something to be said. You can do an automated targeting on TikTok.
Yes.
And their algorithm is such that it actually is pretty good to do the automated targeting. They can pull it pretty well. You can do some targeting as well, but it's not like Facebook targeting. Okay. We're not talking about the same types of things. But yeah, I think if you have a video, what works best is if you have somebody who reviewed your title and you get permission to use their video in an ad and their content in an ad. Usually that requires some type of a payment to them for a certain period of time and to use their video in that way. But it can absolutely be worth it to make that happen. You posting your own video and running your own ad, they don't tend to do as well because you're going from scratch. So if you have somebody's user generated content, essentially is what it is, who's already had a video doing well.
Yes.
because that's the key. And then you put an ad on it, it will throw it up even higher.
Yes.
That's,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you can see this just in your user experience on TikTok. If you spend any time on the platform at all,
Yeah.
you will run across content where anybody, and this is book related or just general product sales, period, anybody will have a video and they're talking about a product, they're reviewing a book, whatever the case may be, and then it seems like it's just sort of an organic review post or like, you know, a
Yeah.
shout out, and then it's designed to feel more like a regular organic TikTok video
Right.
as opposed to like a really marketing forward advertisement that's like
Yeah.
in your face, like buy this, you know,
Yeah.
widget,
Because those don't
read
seem
this
to,
book. Yeah,
those
it's
don't work as well on
yes,
TikTok.
yes,
People want a more authentic experience. They want
right.
it to be like you're talking to a friend.
Mm-hmm.
They want it to have
Or
that.
you're just consuming a creator's content who you're
Right.
comfortable with, like somebody you follow, and it's identical to all of their other content, but it just happens to be a sponsored post that's about your particular book
Right.
in this case.
And to that end, you can also do paid promotional
Mm-hmm.
placements on TikTok with
Yep.
creators
Yep.
and not run ads to it. But those also tend to work better than if you are trying to sit there and post your book day after day after
Yes.
day. You know, I think we've talked briefly about TikTok before with posting content. And
Mm-hmm.
in order to do it to be successful and
Yes.
just do promo posts and not show your face and not build your own authentic audience, you are going to be spending 3 to 4 hours a day on that app
Easily.
easily. That will become your next part-time job if you want it something to go viral.
Right. Right.
You are going to have to be posting 3 to 4 times a day, every single day with new content. You
Mm-hmm.
can switch it around a little bit, but not too much.
Yep.
You have to be pulling hooks. You have to be looking then over what did well, what didn't do well,
Mm-hmm.
tweaking. This is going to become a full-time job
Yeah.
very quickly. I say part-time because you're posting for it, but it can easily overtake your life.
For sure. For sure.
Easily. So if,
A better
yeah,
approach is to just generate something other than a constant stream of promotional content.
right.
I think we have seen from our own clients and just the community in general, the better approach seems to be putting your face out there
Yeah.
and really having a conversational approach to your, you know, your books, your writing,
Yep.
your day in the life. I mean, you know,
Whatever you feel comfortable giving
mhm,
away on social media,
yes,
creating that sort of parasocial relationship in a way that you feel comfortable
yes,
with,
mhm,
that's what's going to give you the best. I mean, I can think of one client who comes to mind immediately, and I'm sure she's on top of yours, who
yes,
has a very good platform on TikTok, Golden Angel.
yes.
And she has created this platform because she's authentic, because she talks to
Mhm.
people. She talks to the
Yeah.
camera like she's
Well, and
talking to you.
she is offering content that is useful to authors and not just
Yeah,
readers. You know, she's out
correct.
there participating in the discussion of that we're all having, not just
Yeah,
trying to get readers to learn about and buy her books. Not that
right.
she doesn't do some of that too, but
Sure,
also her content is not just direct marketing.
correct.
It's still marketing in the sense that she's putting her face out there and talking about her books and her brand
And
and
people know her name now.
uh-huh,
A
yeah.
lot more, not that they didn't know who she was before, but a
It's
lot
been a
more
really good boost
people.
for her brand
Yeah,
recognition is what you're
yeah,
saying, and that's true.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
more people know who she is now
Mhm.
from TikTok. She existed
Yep.
long before TikTok,
Yes.
but that has really given her a different kind of platform,
Yes, for
and she's
sure.
done it very well. So if check her out, that's
Mhm.
a very good example of what to do
Definitely.
in one type of content that you could be doing. I think of other authors who we don't represent. Tessa Bailey
Oh
has
my
a
god, yeah.
very great platform. She's done a
Yes.
great job. um, Anna Huang
Oh, yes, of
does a very
course.
good job as well. These are just people I'm thinking off the top of my head who've been in the industry
Mhm.
for a while, but have managed to build this brand recognition on
Yeah.
TikTok that didn't exist before. So, there's plenty of authors out there who've been very successful at at the TikTok game, if you will.
Uh-huh.
So check them out. Check them out for what kind of content they're doing, and see what you can bring to the conversation, because that's what TikTok is about. It's about the conversation.
Well, and every time you see a post labeled sponsored, just kind of study it,
Yeah.
when you're on the platform. And I think you will find that the content that is sponsored but looks way more organic to the creator is the content that's getting more engagement, more views,
Yeah.
more
I
knocks
agree.
on the ceiling.
More knocks on the ceiling. All right, next platform. Let's talk about Amazon ads. That is a real labyrinth, okay? If we're discussing throwing money into the wind, that is an Amazon ad.
Yes and no. It
I
depends on
know, I
it
know,
depends on who you are.
I know. Amazon ads can be finicky. This is why I say this, because they really can be. They can work so well for
Yeah.
some authors, and then for other authors, no matter what you freaking do, they just do not take off
Convert. Yeah.
and convert. It can be You can be doing the exact same strategy and it just will not convert. So
Yeah.
I say this because there's a lot of courses out there for Amazon ads, a lot of advice out there for Amazon
Yes.
ads.
Many gurus holding
Many
themselves out
gurus.
as AMS
Yes.
experts.
I will be here to tell you that while some of those strategies can work for you,
Yes.
if they don't think you're doing something wrong.
Right.
Take
Right.
it with a grain of salt and
Yes.
try some of these strategies, because they could end up working for you.
For
But
fun.
that doesn't mean they're absolutely going to work for you.
Well, and also consider that Amazon offers multiple placements or types of ads in
Yeah.
their ad dashboard. And I have found that even just switching from one version of Amazon advertising to a different version of Amazon advertising can somehow bridge the gap between ads that maybe get a little bit of attention and ads that actually generate sales for an author. So
Right.
sometimes it's not even that Amazon isn't right for you, it's that the kind of Amazon ad that you might be using isn't the right kind for your brand.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you have to experiment within their system to figure out where your readers are, or where readers who want your kind of books are, and where you are most likely to get their attention by
Yeah,
paying to be seen more frequently in the Amazon universe. But
absolutely.
the thing about Amazon is it it's going to be more expensive than,
Yes.
say, a Facebook ad, for example.
100%.
You could just spend a lot more per click just to get someone to visit your book page. But
Mhm.
there are people who are already on the platform and are likely to buy books. Like, they're most
Right.
likely shopping for books or browsing for books. And so you've got a leg up on Facebook in that regard.
It's
Where
much more
Facebook,
targeted.
yes, you're fishing in a sea of all Facebook users for people who want books. And they're pretty easy to find. Facebook has made that possible. But with
Yeah,
Amazon, they're one step closer to converting. So sometimes it is worth spending more on those clicks.
absolutely.
To,
You have to be careful with Amazon ads, because they're not like Facebook ads, in which you can give Facebook a specific amount of money and say do not spend more than this.
Yes.
Amazon, you can accidentally find yourself spending way more than you intended.
Yes.
So, because there's an up and down system, and you can give them a cap per day. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, just be careful with the spend on Amazon, because it's not the same as Facebook or maybe some other platforms you're familiar with.
For sure.
Just like to put that out there. And also, if there's a massive sale going on, like industry wide or something like that, Prime Days,
Oh my
you want to
God. I
you
was
want to
just
turn
gonna
off your
say,
ads.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's really not worth spending the money during Prime days. You just
right.
absolutely gonna take that money and buy something you want for yourself that's on sale
Exactly.
with Prime days, because you're better off using the money that way.
Right. It's not good to
Period.
run ads on in
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we have. BookBub ads.
I actually love a BookBub ad. I know
I
they're
love a
not really
BookBub ad.
super popular, and they are by far the most expensive ad I can think of.
Yes. Yes.
But the reason
But
I love them is because you're guaranteed to reach readers, not just people
yeah.
shopping, but like people who specifically have signed up for
Yes.
marketing from authors of all kinds based on their own interests in reading.
I have had
So,
clients not get, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off,
no,
but
no, 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 go
not,
ahead.
I've had clients not get a BookBub for a specific title.
Right.
Instead, put the book on sale for 99 cents or
Yeah.
free,
Yeah.
and then run a BookBub ad.
Yes.
And it's been not as successful as a BookBub, but fairly successful.
Still worth their time and
Still
money.
worth the time and money. And you're not spending the massive BookBub price.
Right.
I mean, you could be, right?
Several hundred to
But
well over $1,000 for the feature deal.
yeah.
Right.
So you can sort of like get a mini BookBub by
Mhm.
using BookBub's audience, because the thing
Yes.
is your ad is showing up in the BookBub email at the bottom,
That's right.
with all of the other sales and
Right.
deals. So to
You
them, they're
target comp authors, and someone who you
yeah,
have a similar readership with has a BookBub feature deal. Your ad is probably going to be in their email if you bid well enough.
correct.
And you can capture people who are looking for not just that author stuff, but anything in the genre,
Right. So
So,
it's definitely for full price books, they don't work as well. They do
oh
work,
no.
but they do not work as well.
I Yes.
I wouldn't recommend it if
No,
you're
I was
just
going to
trying
say
something out.
I
Yeah.
agree with that completely. My experience is similar to that. I also think that books that are wide tend to perform better than books that are in
Yes.
KU. That's really more about the way BookBub runs their business. They're very, very.
Yeah.
If you have been publishing for any amount of time and you've tried to get a BookBub, you know just how selective their editors are when it comes to curating
Yes.
the deals. And Amazon exclusive books that are in KU tend to get selected. I would say maybe like a tenth as much, like
Yeah.
10% as often as wide books, probably.
That sounds about right.
And for that reason, BookBub readers are not really conditioned to buy books exclusively from Amazon.
Right.
And
It's a
books that are
very
in
wide
KU
audience.
they just tend not to convert quite so well. Not to say that if you are having a sale on a book in KU, if you've marked your price
Yeah.
down to 99 cents or you're using your 5 free days for this cycle, you can still have some success with some BookBub ads if your targeting is on point.
Yeah. And I will say, so I had a client have a BookBub on a free
Mhm.
title
Yeah.
recently. She had over 35,000 downloads on that free title, which is amazing numbers,
Holy crap.
right? It's amazing numbers. Now, BookBub used to have those type of, eye-popping numbers, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it's gone down significantly. But so this was just like absolutely wonderful to hear, like that she had this many downloads. Now she did do some other promotions as well during that time.
Right.
So it's not to say that that's all
She
exclusively from,
stacked some other
yeah.
promo ideas and marketing ideas on top of the BookBub.
And yeah, we obviously helped promote as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
not to say it's all from the BookBub, but that was an amazing number for that promotion. She's just starting to see conversion now,
Yeah.
because the free deal happened 2 weeks ago, something
Okay.
like that, week and a half
People
ago.
are coming through and getting the next book in series,
Yep.
checking out her catalog.
She's starting to see a big uptick in her book book boxes,
Awesome.
book sets.
The box sets,
The
her
box set. My
series box
brain.
sets, not book boxes with like swag and
Yes.
paperbacks
No,
in
no,
them,
no,
but
no.
like the
Series box sets
collection
where,
of books in a series.
because
Yes.
if you buy the first book for free, right? And then you're like, oh, well, I'm now committed to this whole thing because I'm
Yeah.
now in.
Yeah.
You don't care if the box set has that free book in it because it's already free. So
Right.
you're just going to buy the box set.
Exactly.
And that's what a lot of people are doing. They're also going to individual books as well. But
Sure.
yeah, it's been very successful. We were a little nervous, right, about how it would go, but that is great news for
That's
those who've been
incredible.
wondering about free deals with BookBub. They are still valuable.
Cannot recommend them enough, honestly, as long as
Yeah.
they are both domestic and international. I don't care for an international only deal just
No,
because
don't.
BookBub's international reader market just is not as spendy as the US market tends to be.
Yep.
But a free deal that's both domestic and international is still pretty good. And 35,000 downloads.
Yeah. It's amazing. And this book has been out for a long time. This author's been an established
aging
author.
backlist title.
Yes. It is a first in a series though.
Can't beat that.
And yeah, I mean, just absolutely amazing. this book has not been in BookBub for a long time. So that's
Yeah.
why, right?
Yeah.
Because obviously if the book has been in BookBub and like even a year ago, you're not going to
Right.
get the same results, right?
Right.
So it's something that you need to consider and to temper your expectations depending.
For
Let's see,
sure.
other advertising places. I mean, you can
Google,
advertise on Google, you can advertise on Reddit,
Pinterest.
Pinterest. I've heard some Pinterest advertising stories. I'm trying to think where else. YouTube, on the tube of you.
Yes.
I've advertised on FetLife before for a BDSM title. Wedding Wire.
Please tell me about this experience. How did that
Yeah.
go?
It was, it was
That is such a
fine.
that's such a creative target audience. Like, what?
Yeah.
First of all, did FetLife make it easy for you to
It
advertise?
was. It was easy. I sent them the image and the graphic and the link and they put it up. It was a banner. It was a banner
Yeah, website
advertisement.
banner. Yeah,
Yep. Simple,
amazing.
effective. I mean, it wasn't like the most amazing conversion rate ever known to man, but it was a fun
Right,
experience and there was conversion.
that's
I'd have
amazing.
to look up to see the exact numbers, but I remember us being slightly surprised and like
Yeah,
pleasantly,
yeah. But like that
like
just goes to show that you don't have to stay in the established lane.
yeah,
And in fact, if you have the courage and a little bit of a disposable budget, you can brainstorm any sort of
any
platform or
advertising.
website where you
We
could
did
potentially do something like that.
yeah, I did something similar on a wedding website
Hmm.
that for a book that was about weddings.
Yeah.
It had that in the title, and it was more of a women's fiction title,
Yes.
and yeah, that was fun too. And
Amazing.
it's just you got to sometimes think out of the box. Like, where are you going to find these other readers
Right.
that you might not be able to reach otherwise? Now you
Yes.
have to remember you're not. It's not like targeted down, right?
Yeah. You
They're
have
not
no idea how
necessarily
many,
readers.
right,
Yeah,
no idea how many of these people are actually into books. It may completely flop, even though the audience should be receptive.
yeah. So the fact that you're getting any conversion could be deemed a bit of a success
Right.
because they're brand new to you readers who've never
Yes.
been into your like. That's a
Right.
huge deal. Excuse me. So yeah, just think outside of the box with advertising.
For sure.
You can do, like we were saying, TikTok paid promotional
Hmm.
placements and other sorts of types of paid promotional placements.
Sponsor a podcast episode.
Yeah, exactly.
Reach out to your favorite podcasters or podcast. There are so many book related
Oh
podcasts,
my
book
God, so
review
many.
podcasts, writing craft
We are but
podcasts.
one of
Like we,
many.
I mean, hello, like everybody and their
Yes.
mother has a podcast now. Sponsor an episode of a podcast,
Yeah.
or do advertising on the website for any of the podcasts that are
I mean,
relevant to your genre.
you could even do local radio advertising if you had a new book released, depending upon what the book
Yeah,
was, right? But
yeah,
I could think, women's fiction title or something that was a little bit more mainstream appeal, I
yep,
think wouldn't be a terrible fit
for
for
sure.
some type of, thing like that. Even local, I've actually seen a local commercial for a book before.
Oh, really?
I have. I don't know how successful that was for them, but you can do that. You can buy, how you see authors standing in front of like New York Times and
Hmm.
our New York Times, the New York in Times Square. Thank
Yes.
you, words, Heather. And they have, their billboard is above them because their
Yes.
publisher purchased a
Yes.
billboard. You too can purchase a billboard. And
And go
it's
stand in
actually,
Times Square
you
and
can and take the
yes.
picture and then
Yes.
share it on social media. It's not as expensive as you think it is because you can purchase
I mean,
the
it's still
time period.
expensive. It's just
It's still
not as
expensive.
expensive as you think
Yeah,
it is.
you're thinking it's like $20,000. It's not.
Right.
I mean, it can be, but it's
Well,
if
I mean, if it's prime placement, prime
right.
time, prime,
You can have
whatever.
it just up for a certain period of time and pay for that. You go, you stand in front of it, you get the photo that you want for social media. You get to
Yep.
say that you were up on a billboard in Times
Yeah.
Square. That's all true. It might have been for 30 seconds, but
Plus, you get the 30-second exposure of the book being on the billboard too,
Yes,
in
exactly.
a high traffic,
Correct.
enormous urban area.
So these are all things that you as indie authors can do.
Yep.
You don't have to have a publisher behind you to do them. There's plenty of brokers that you can. I've gone down that rabbit hole that you can do. So, and I was surprised at how not I mean, comparatively, it's expensive, but it's not what I thought it was.
Right.
So,
Right.
but yeah, you can absolutely. There's movie theaters
Mm-hmm.
have the ads before the movie comes out,
Yes. Yes. They run the
and
ads before they start the previews and the coming
yep,
attractions. You get the local advertisements there for people who are early to
I've
the
yeah, I've
show.
made images to be put on
Uh-huh.
movie theaters before,
Well, and you know
in movie
what?
theater placement.
There's classic print advertising too. You
Yeah,
can buy space in trade magazines, in newspapers, in like all sorts of
all sorts
opportunities
of
out there
stuff.
for you to just place an actual print ad, old school,
Yeah,
where people are still reading, or digital ads on the websites of print newspapers and
there's
magazines as well.
there's also these things called advertorials.
Hmm.
And that is
Yes.
when you're reading a magazine and it looks like a interview
Uh huh.
or some type of an article. But if you look really closely at the bottom, it says advertisement.
Yep.
And that is when it's essentially user generated content. I don't know how else it's like old school user generated
It,
content.
it really is. It
And
really is.
yeah, and it's called an advertorial, and you create the content, you take out that ad and you put it in there, and it's essentially, for lack of a better word, tricking the reader of that magazine into checking you out instead of just skipping over the advertisement, right? To go to the more content. So it's not a terrible way to try to advertise yourself that way if you have
You know,
something to say. Or yeah.
you can also do mobile ads
Yep.
in any fashion, honestly. I like, if you're into it, go get a magnet with your author logo on it, slap it on your car. And every
Yeah.
time you take your car somewhere, you are advertising your book and your brand.
There's so
Put
many
a
different
QR code on
ways.
your back glass.
Yeah.
Like, my favorite thing is when you see people with like Spotify codes on their
Yeah.
cars when you're out driving around, it's like, okay, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get rickrolled because people think they're funny.
100%. Yeah.
But occasionally it's not Rick Astley, it's, something else, or their podcast or something, which is a great
Right.
idea. You can do the same thing with a QR code for your free first in series if you have a reader magnet,
Yep.
or to your Shopify website if you are selling direct now, or just to your author website so people can learn more about you.
Right. There's so many different ways to advertise. And I
Hmm.
hope that that's what we're getting across in this podcast,
Yes.
because there are, methods that everybody runs to because they are more convenient, more targeted, and
Yep.
all of that. And absolutely, if you have a limited budget,
Mhm.
perhaps those are the ones that you should look to first because you're going to
For
have a
sure.
better ROI.
Yep.
But if you want to play around a little bit and get creative, there are great options and plenty of opportunities for you to do so,
Yes.
both in your local community, your state, and then also in different digital platforms as
Yep.
well.
For sure.
So
The sky
don't be
is really the
hesitant.
limit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't be hesitant. I think that that's the key.
Agreed.
But well, and on that note, I think that Veronica and I are going to take the rest of the day off and go
Yes.
turn our brains off a little bit.
Yes.
I'm going to go craft and get a massage. Not in that
Uh,
order. I need one. I'm dying. And yeah,
I'm going to go do what I call market research.
you're gonna read a book. I love
Yes, I
it.
am.
I
Yes,
love
I
it.
am.
I've been reading so much recently.
Have you?
I really have. I don't know if that's a escape mechanism for the crazy that has been the life.
Oh, it's been pretty crazy lately.
Maybe. But no, it's been lovely. I've been tearing through some books. I'm trying to go back through some things that are living on my Kindle that have
Guys, before we leave, I have to tell you, she downloaded. I'm not going to tell you whose books these were. She bought or borrowed from KU. I'm not sure
borrowed
which.
borrowed from
Okay,
KU.
so she borrowed from KU some books, and when she opened one of them, it opened to the acknowledgments at the end of the book. And that's a telltale sign that you've read a book before. But Heather
Yeah.
said, I've never read this book. There's no way. This has to be a Kindle glitch. We even discussed it. And I said, I don't know. I'm pretty sure that only happens if you've read the book before. So what did Heather do? She sat down and started reading the book.
Yeah.
And was what, 80% finished before you realized that you had in fact read it before?
Yeah. I remembered the ending. I remembered the end. I didn't remember. Although, to be fair, I really didn't remember the anything up until that point. And
I'm laughing so hard it's making me cry.
oh my
Oh,
God. I remember the end, and then it was a duet. And so I started the next book, and I remember the
uh-huh.
beginning of that too. And you know
Oh,
why? Is because the reason I remember it is there was an adoption component,
uh-huh.
and that's why I
Oh,
remember. That's when I got to that, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, now I remember this. I didn't know
okay.
this was this book.
Yeah. So
But I didn't remember the plot line at all, just the adoption
I,
component.
that I'm not sure if that says something about the author and their writing, or if that says something about you and your voracious reading and how many books you've consumed,
Yeah,
such that the catalog just cannot keep up with everything you've actually read over the years.
I cannot. I enjoyed it the second time though. I did finish the duet. I had to push through
Yeah, of course.
and finish the duet,
Of course.
and it was great the second time. Hopefully I enjoyed it just as much the first time. I did
Awesome.
no recollection,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was very good. And I've since read one book since then, which is crazy. Like I usually don't read this much, but here we are.
I have the audio books of a very, very popular romantasy series.
My God, are you finally reading it?
Yeah, I have some serious cleaning. We had you guys have got the roofing contractors, and we had HVAC contractors here at the house this week.
Yes,
So
yes.
I have some cleaning and reorganizing to do now that the work is complete. So while I go do that this afternoon, I'm going to market research Fourth Wing. So
Yay! Finally.
finally, yeah, I'm joining the year 2024.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. So,
So
all right. Well, I hope you all have a good weekend and you find something awesome to read as well.
yes,
And until then, bang on the ceiling,
it's
and we're
forward
out.
state.